left to die in the dirt. The battlefield was silent now. Smoke rose in the air. The ground was wet with blood and metal. Bodies of soldiers, both alien and human, lay across the dirt. It was the end of a long and terrible fight. Tarek, a young alien soldier, lay broken in the middle of it all. His lower body was gone, blown away by a human mine. His armor was cracked, his face covered in blood and dust. His breathing was slow, weak. He was still alive, but only just. So this is how it ends, he thought. Alone, broken, no honor, no glory. His people, the Zorvans, believed that dying in battle was the highest honor, but not like this, not in silence, not abandoned. Tarek moved his hand slowly. He reached for his belt, his last weapon. A small plasma knife. He wanted to end it himself. One quick cut. No pain. But his hand was shaking. He couldn't do it. His eyes began to close. Cold started to creep into his chest. Everything faded. Then, a sound. Soft footsteps. Someone was walking toward him. His hand reached for the knife again, just in case. But instead of a weapon, a voice spoke. Hey, you're still breathing. Tarek opened his eyes a little. A human face looked down at him. Tired eyes, a rough beard, a dusty helmet. It was a human medic. What are you doing? Tarek whispered. His voice was dry. Saving your life, the human said. Tarek laughed, or tried to. It came out as a cough. You're the enemy. The medic knelt beside him. Not today. The human pulled a scanner from his bag and began checking Tarek's vitals. Name's Ely, he said. You're lucky I found you. Or maybe not. You decide. Why? Tarek asked. Why help me? Ely didn't answer right away. He opened a pack and started cleaning Tarek's wounds. Because I don't leave people behind, Ely finally said, even if they're Zorvan. Tarek wanted to fight, to push the human away, but he had no strength. Your people will kill you for this, he said. Probably, Ely replied with a small smile. But I've already been marked as a traitor, so saving one more enemy doesn't change much. Ely pulled out a strange silver tube and pressed it to Tarek's neck. A cold liquid entered his body. What's that? Tarek asked. Something that will keep you alive. And something else, something new. Tarek's eyes began to close again. But this time, not from pain, it was sleep. Rest now, Ely said. When you wake up, your war will be over, and your real life will begin. Darkness took Tarek. When he woke up again, he was no longer on the battlefield. He was inside a small metal room. Lights buzzed above him. Machines beeped softly. The air smelled clean. He tried to sit up. Pain shot through his back. Ely appeared beside him. Easy. You've been out for 2 days. Tarek looked down at his body and froze. His legs were gone, replaced with metal. Cold, smooth, black cybernetic limbs. What did you do to me? He whispered. I saved your life, Ely said. And I gave you something better. Tarek felt panic rise in his chest. This is wrong. I'm not whole. You're more than whole, Ely said. You're alive. And now, you're strong. Tarek clenched his jaw. My people will never accept this. I'm a machine now. A freak. Ely stood. Your people left you to die. I didn't. Tarek stared at the ceiling, his mind full of fear, anger, and confusion. He didn't ask to live, but he was alive. And now, he had no idea what came next. Ely walked to the door and looked back. You think your life ended out there in the dirt. But maybe, just maybe, it's only beginning. Then he left the room. Tarek lay in silence, half flesh, half metal. And for the first time in his life, he felt something strange. Hope. The human who wouldn't let him die. Tarek woke with a loud gasp. The room was quiet, but his heart was not. It was beating fast, like a drum in battle. His skin felt cold. His head was heavy. For a moment, he didn't know where he was. Then he remembered. The battlefield. The blood. The pain. The human. He turned his head slowly. The light above him was soft now, not blinding. Machines next to him beeped in rhythm. Small wires ran from his chest to a black monitor. He tried to move his legs, but they weren't his legs anymore. Tarek stared at the metal limbs below his waist. Smooth, dark, quiet. They looked more like weapons than legs. His hands curled into fists. It felt like he was trapped in a body that was no longer his. "So you're awake," a voice said. He looked toward the sound. Eli stood at the corner of the room, holding a steaming cup of something that smelled bitter. The human wore a dirty jacket and a pair of old boots. His beard looked even messier than before. "How do you feel?" Eli asked. Tarek didn't answer. Eli sighed. "I'm guessing confused, angry, maybe betrayed." Tarek's voice was low. "Why did you do this to me?" "To save you," Eli replied simply. "You should have let me die." "Maybe," Eli said. "But I didn't." Tarek looked at his arms. Still flesh, still him, but everything below his waist was gone, taken by the mine, replaced by machines. "You had no right." "You're right," Eli said, walking over. "I didn't, but the choice was life or death, and I chose life for you, even if you hate me for it." Eli sat down beside the bed. "What now?" Tarek asked. "Now you recover. You train. You learn how to use those legs. They're not just for walking. They're fast, powerful, tough, made from military-grade tech, designed to carry heavy gear and take enemy fire." Tarek stared at him. "You made me a weapon. I made you survive," Eli replied. "What you become now is up to you." The next day, training began. Eli helped Tarek sit up. At first, the cybernetic legs wouldn't respond. They felt cold, like dead weight, but slowly they moved, a few steps at a time. The legs were not like normal ones. They responded to his thoughts, but only if he focused. Every step felt strange, like walking on metal springs. Sometimes he fell. Sometimes he cursed. But he never stopped. Eli never shouted at him, never forced him, just stood by his side and said, "Again." Days passed. Tarek learned to run, jump, lift heavy crates, balance on narrow beams. His metal legs could crush stone, leap across gaps, and absorb the shock of a fall. But still, his heart was heavy. One night, as they sat near a small heater, Tarek finally spoke what had been burning inside him. "I don't understand you." Eli looked up. "What do you mean?" "Your people are at war with mine. I killed humans, your friends, your brothers, and you still saved me. Why?" Eli didn't answer for a while. He stared into the heater flame. "I was a soldier once," he said, "before I became a medic. What happened? I got tired of watching people die. Both sides. Young, scared, crying out for help. I realized something. War doesn't care who's right. It only takes." Tarek nodded slowly. "My people would say you're weak. And your people left you to die," Eli said calmly. "Which one of us is weak?" The words hit hard. Tarek looked down at his metal legs. "I don't know who I am anymore." "You're alive," Eli said. "And that means you still have time to figure it out." Later that week, during a training session, a loud alarm blared through the bunker. Eli froze. "They found us." "Who?" Tarek asked. "Not sure, but we don't have time to stay." Eli grabbed a small pack and threw it to Tarek. Inside were tools, weapons, and a small chip. "What's this?" "Coordinates," Eli said. "A place where we might be safe." "We?" Eli nodded. "You think I'm letting you go alone?" They exited the room together, moving quickly down the metal corridors. Above them, the sound of boots echoed. Then, an explosion. Part of the roof collapsed behind them. Dust filled the hallway. Red lights flashed. Smoke poured in. "Come on," Eli shouted. They ran toward the lower tunnels, Tarek leading the way. His cybernetic legs made him fast, much faster than a normal soldier. He lifted Eli over rubble, smashed through locked doors, and dodged falling beams. But the attackers were close. As they reached the exit tunnel, a squad of black-armored soldiers blocked their path. Eli raised his weapon, but Tarek stepped forward. "Let me handle this." The soldiers raised their guns. Tarek's eyes burned with energy. In a flash, he moved, faster than they could react. Metal legs slammed into the floor, sending him into the air. He landed among them like a storm. Fists of steel, kicks that shattered armor. One by one, the soldiers fell. When it was over, the tunnel was silent again. Eli stared at Tarek. "Remind me not to make you angry." Tarek looked at his hands, then at the bodies around him. "I didn't want to kill them," he said, "but I had to." "You protected us," Eli said. "You chose to live, and now you're fighting to stay that way." As they moved through the forest outside the bunker, heading for the next safe point, Tarek felt something change inside him. He was no longer just a soldier, no longer just an alien. He was something else now, something new, a survivor, a fighter, maybe even a friend. The weapon they didn't expect. The trees whispered as a soft wind passed through the forest. The stars above were clear, shining like cold eyes watching from the dark sky. Somewhere far behind them, smoke still rose from the bunker they had escaped. Eli and Tarek had been walking for hours. The forest trail was rough, filled with broken roots and sharp stones. Eli's steps were slow, his legs tired, shoulders heavy, but Tarek moved like wind, his metal legs gliding over rocks and gaps with ease. "You should rest," Tarek said, turning back. Eli shook his head. "Not yet. We're close." "Your heart rate is too high," Tarek added. "Your breathing is uneven." Eli chuckled, wiping sweat from his face. "And now you're a doctor too." Tarek smiled a little, just a little. It felt strange. The idea of smiling. He hadn't done it since, before the war, before everything. Soon, they reached a small cave hidden beneath the roots of a giant tree. Eli knelt and brushed dirt off a metal hatch. He pressed a code on a small device, and the hatch clicked open. Inside, the floor glowed dim blue. "This is one of our supply caches," Eli explained as they climbed down. "Food, water, some gear, and most important, this place is off-grid. Even scanners can't find it." "How long do we stay here?" Tarek asked. "Just long enough to plan our next move." They stayed in the cave for 3 days. Eli treated his wounds and repaired some of Tarek's damaged systems. The battle had left scratches and dents across his legs, but more than that, it had changed something inside Tarek. He felt powerful, but also dangerous. On the second night, Tarek stood outside the cave, looking up at the stars. His mind was quiet, but his chest was not. He felt something heavy there, something he couldn't name. He didn't hear Eli walk up behind him. "You okay?" Eli asked. "Do you ever wonder," Tarek said slowly, "what kind of monster we become when we choose to survive?" Eli was silent for a while. "Sometimes," he replied, "but maybe surviving isn't the problem. Maybe it's why we survive, and what we do next." Tarek nodded, but said nothing. The next morning, everything changed. The attack came fast. It began with a high-pitched hum in the air. Birds flew away. The sky flickered. Then, an explosion above them. A piece of the cave ceiling collapsed. Dust and metal fell. Tarek jumped over Eli, shielding him from the blast. "They found us," Eli shouted, coughing. "How?" Tarek growled. You said this place was hidden. It was, unless someone told them. A flash of cold realization passed between them. A traitor. Tarek grabbed Eli and pulled him toward the tunnel exit. The sound of boots, weapons, and metallic footsteps echoed behind them. "We have to move," Eli said. But as they reached the surface, a figure dropped from the trees. Black armor, glowing red eyes, two massive cybernetic arms. Tarek froze. This one was like him, but stronger, sharper, faster. The figure spoke in a flat, cold voice. "Unit X9. Mission: capture or destroy rogue subject Tarek." "Who are you?" Tarek asked. "I am what you should have been," the voice said. "Pure, obedient, loyal." Eli stepped back. "He's a full cyber soldier, completely controlled by command." "Not controlled," Vex-9 said. "Perfected." Then it charged. The battle was a blur. Vex-9 moved like lightning. Its fists smashed trees. Its kicks broke rocks. Tarek dodged, rolled, countered. But he was on the back foot. He was fast. But Vex-9 was faster, stronger. Eli fired his rifle from behind a tree. The bullets bounced off Vex-9's armor like raindrops. "He's too tough," Eli shouted. "You can't beat him head-on." Tarek gritted his teeth. Sparks flew from his shoulder as a punch landed. He grabbed Vex-9's arm and twisted. Metal bent. Wires snapped. Vex-9 roared in pain, but not like a man. Like a machine. "You feel nothing," Tarek said. "I feel purpose," Vex-9 replied. They crashed through trees and into a clearing. Then Vex-9 made a mistake. It tried to grab Eli. Tarek's vision went red. He leaped through the air, metal legs kicking down with full force. The ground cracked as Vex-9 fell. Tarek stood over it, breathing hard. "You can be fast," he growled. "You can be strong, but you'll never protect anyone." His fist came down, once, twice, 3 times, until the red eyes of Vex-9 flickered and went dark. The forest went silent. Eli limped over, holding his side. "Are you okay?" Tarek asked. "Yeah," Eli said. "But what the hell was that thing?" "A message," Tarek said quietly. "They're not going to stop. They're making more of them. Like me. Better than me." "Then we find a way to stop them," Eli said. Tarek looked at his hands. "I was built to destroy. But maybe I can be something else." Eli smiled. "We'll figure it out. Together." That night, they found another hidden bunker. A resistance outpost. A few humans stood guard outside. Weapons raised. Eyes cold. "You brought him?" one of them asked Eli. Eli stepped forward. "He saved my life. Twice. He's not the enemy anymore." Tarek stood tall. His black armor covered in scratches. His eyes calm. "I am not your enemy," he said. "But if they come for you, I will fight for you." The guards looked at each other. Then slowly they lowered their weapons. Inside the bunker, Tarek found a place to sit. He looked at his reflection in a cracked mirror, half flesh, half machine. But inside, something new was growing. He had no past anymore. No people. No flag. No home. But now he had a purpose. And soon, the galaxy would know. He was not their weapon anymore. He was their warning. Betrayed by blood, saved by humanity. The bunker walls were thick, but not thick enough to block out memories. Tarek sat alone in a dark corner of the resistance base. The low hum of machines echoed around him. Humans moved quietly through the halls. Some looked at him with fear, others with curiosity. But no one came close. Not even Eli. He had spent the last hour staring at a small screen, replaying a single message over and over again. His brother's voice. "This is Commander Zakar of the Zorvan Elite," the hologram said coldly. "Target is Tarek, former squad leader. He has betrayed our kind. He now fights beside humans. This dishonor cannot stand. Bring him to me alive or dead." The message ended with the Zordan symbol, once a mark of pride. Now it felt like a blade through his chest. His own brother had placed a bounty on him. Eli finally walked in, carrying 2 cups of hot broth. "Figured you could use something warm," he said. Tarek didn't move. Eli sat beside him, offering a cup. Tarek took it, but didn't drink. "You saw the message?" Eli asked. Tarek nodded slowly. "He used to be my best friend, my blood. And now he's hunting me like an animal." They sat in silence. Then Tarek spoke again. "Do you ever feel like your heart doesn't know who it belongs to anymore?" Eli looked at him. "Every day." In the next few days, the bunker became a training ground. Tarek trained with human soldiers, some young, some old, none of them trusting at first. But they watched him fight, watched him teach, and slowly their doubt began to fade. He showed them how to counter alien tactics, how to move fast, strike smart, and think like a Zorvan. In return, they taught him human strategies, clever traps, team formations, tricks that won battles without brute strength. He wasn't just stronger now, he was smarter. But still at night, he returned to the dark corner, and the hologram played again and again. Zakar's voice, always cold, always final. One night, Commander Lena, leader of the human resistance cell, called Eli and Tarek to the command room. A large screen showed a planet spinning slowly. Red lights blinked across its surface. "We received intel," Lena said. "Your brother is leading a mission here, a secret lab where they're building something big. Cybernetic soldiers, dozens." Eli narrowed his eyes. "Like the one we fought." "Worse," she said. "Smarter, colder, loyal only to command." Tarek stood quietly. "I know that place," he said. "It used to be a training camp. Now it's something else." Lena looked at him. "We want to send a team in, but you know the layout better than anyone. You want me to lead them?" he asked. "Yes," Lena replied. "If you're willing." Eli placed a hand on Tarek's shoulder. "You don't have to do this. You don't owe anyone anything." "You're wrong," Tarek said softly. "I owe you." The dropship cut through the night sky like a shadow. Inside, the team checked their gear in silence. Eli was there, of course. He never left Tarek's side now. "You ready for this?" Eli asked. Tarek looked out the window. The planet below was covered in storm clouds and metal structures. Red lights flashed like angry eyes. "I'm not doing this for revenge," he said. "I'm doing it to stop them. That's the difference between you and them," Eli replied. "They want power. You want peace." The lab was buried deep underground. Tarek led the team through the outer layers, using old tunnels, hidden paths, and secret codes from his past life. His mind remembered every hallway, every alarm. He had trained here once. Now he was breaking in. As they moved deeper, Tarek felt something strange. Familiar sounds, old smells. It was like walking through a memory. Then they reached a door. Behind it, Zakar. His heart beat faster. "This is your choice," Eli said. "We don't have to face him." "I do," Tarek replied. "I need to hear it from him. I need to know why." The door opened with a hiss. Inside, Zakar stood in full armor. Behind him, half-finished cyber soldiers lined the walls, soulless and silent. "Brother," Zakar said, "you look changed." "You left me to die," Tarek said. "You were weak," Zakar replied. "You failed the mission. You brought shame to our family." "And you sold your soul to machines," Tarek said. "Machines don't betray you," Zakar said. "They follow orders." Eli stepped forward. "You turned your brother into a target, because he chose kindness, because he chose us." Zakar's eyes burned. "He chose weakness, and you made him weaker." He raised his weapon. But Tarek stepped forward. I am not weak. His cybernetic legs moved faster than thought. In seconds, he was on Zekar, dodging, striking, blocking. They clashed like thunder and flame, brother against brother. The room shook. Zekar was strong, well-trained, but he was still tied to the old ways. Tarek had learned something else, something better. Humanity. He used teamwork, traps, misdirection. Eli shouted commands. The team supported from the sides. And in the end, Zekar fell. Not dead, but defeated. Tarek stood over him, breathing hard. Zekar coughed. You were always the soft one. Maybe, Tarek said. But soft doesn't mean weak. He turned to the team. Destroy the lab. All of it. The explosion lit up the night sky. From far away, people saw the fire rise, and the machines fall. Humanity had struck back, and Tarek had chosen his side. Back at the bunker, Tarek sat with Eli under a starlit sky. He was my brother, Tarek said, but he was never my family. Eli nodded. We can't choose where we come from, but we can choose who we become. Tarek looked at the stars. I used to think my story ended on that battlefield, he said, but maybe it was just the beginning. Eli smiled. What now? Now, Tarek said, we find others like me. Others who were left behind. Others who can still be saved. He stood, half flesh, half steel, but all heart. Cybernetic hunter versus cybernetic hope. The battlefield was quiet now, but Tarek knew it wouldn't stay that way. He stood on top of a hill, overlooking the valley below. Old ruins covered in vines stretched far in every direction. They were once part of a forgotten human city, now just stone and silence. Beside him, Eli checked a small device. The screen blinked red. He's close, Eli said. The hunter. Tarek said nothing. The wind blew through his armor. His metal legs were still scratched from the last fight. His right shoulder was slightly stiff, but none of that mattered now. He had felt it for days. Something was coming. For the past week, whispers had spread across both human and alien channels. A new cybernetic warrior. Faster, smarter, crueler. Not built from broken bodies like Tarek. This one had never been anything else. It was grown in metal, trained from birth, designed to hunt only one target. Tarek. They called him Vorak, the perfect weapon. And he was coming. The first attack came at night. A small village on the edge of the human zone was burned to ash. No survivors. But one thing was found, cut into the wall of a ruined home. You are next. Tarek read the message with a cold stare. Eli stepped beside him. He's hunting you. Then I stop running, Tarek replied. I face him. They set the trap at the ruins. Eli brought a small team of resistance fighters, snipers, techs, scouts. Each knew the risk. No one complained. But Tarek stood alone in the center of the stone field, unarmed, waiting. It was quiet for hours. Then suddenly, a ripple through the air. The wind stopped. Even the birds flew away. And out of the shadows, he arrived. Vorak. He was tall, armored in black steel. His eyes glowed red. His hands were sharp, blade-like. He walked without sound. Not like a man. Like a machine that had learned to enjoy killing. You are disappointing, Vorak said in a voice that sounded both human and not. You look like them now. Soft. Tarek stood still. Who made you? I was not made, Vorak replied. I was designed. Perfected. Then you don't know what it means to fight for something real. Vorak tilted his head. I fight for purpose. For power. For the order your kind rejected. Tarek took one step forward. You fight for fear. I fight for choice. Vorak's red eyes flashed. Enough talk. And he charged. The battle was like thunder meeting lightning. Metal slammed against metal. Punches cracked the ground. Every move shook the ruins. Sparks flew with every hit. Vorak was fast, too fast. He hit hard, without emotion, without hesitation. Tarek was knocked into a wall. Rubble fell. His vision blurred. But he got up. Again. And again. Eli watched through a scope from above. "He's faster than Tarek," he muttered, "but not smarter." "Should we help?" one fighter asked. Eli shook his head. "Not yet. Tarek needs to face him. Alone." Tarek ducked under a spinning kick, slammed his knee into Vorak's side, and sent him flying. But Vorak didn't stay down. He landed, spun, and launched himself back like a missile. They crashed into each other, locked in a grip of steel. "Why do you keep standing?" Vorak asked. "Because I'm not done yet," Tarek growled. Vorak's eyes narrowed. "You're protecting them. The humans. They gave me a second chance. They gave you weakness." "No," Tarek whispered. "They gave me hope." With one roar, he lifted Vorak and slammed him into the ground. Dust exploded into the sky. For a moment, silence. Then Vorak smiled. A cold, lifeless smile. "You are stronger than I expected." A blade slid out from his arm. Long, sharp, buzzing with energy. But not strong enough. He lunged. Tarek dodged, but not in time. The blade cut across his chest. Sparks flew. Pain flashed through his body. He stumbled back, breathing hard. Vorak walked toward him slowly, like death itself. "I will end you," he said, "and they will know your hope meant nothing." Tarek looked up, blood on his lips, but eyes filled with fire. "Eli," he whispered into the calm. Now, from the hills, the team launched EMP grenades. Light flashed. Sound cracked. Energy rippled across the ruins. Vorak screamed, a sound like metal tearing. His systems flickered, just long enough. Tarek rose. He sprinted, his cybernetic legs burning with energy. He leaped high, landed behind Vorak, and slammed both fists into the enemy's back. Vorak fell to his knees. Tarek grabbed his head, looked into those red eyes. "You were built to end me," he said, "but you never understood me." He drove his fist forward. The core inside Vorak's chest shattered. Light exploded. Then, darkness. Vorak collapsed. Dead. After the fight, the ruins were quiet. The wind returned. Tarek stood over the body of his enemy. Eli walked over, breathing hard. "You okay?" he asked. "No," Tarek said softly, "but I'm alive." Eli looked at the broken body. "They'll build more like him. Then we train more like me." Back at the bunker, the mood was different. Soldiers who once feared Tarek now watched him with respect. They had seen what he could do. But more than that, they saw why he did it. For them. Not because he had to, but because he chose to. That night, Eli handed Tarek a datavad. "Intel from the outer systems," he said. "Your name's spreading. Not just as a rogue, but as a symbol." Tarek looked at the screen. A simple title. "The Cybernetic Hope." "They see you," Eli said. "They believe in you." "I'm not a hero," Tarek replied. "No," Eli smiled. "You're something better. You're real." Tarek stared out the window. The stars stretched far. So many lives still in danger. So many minds still trapped in war. "We have work to do," he said. And with that, he began the next chapter of his fight. Not just to survive, but to inspire. One warrior against a machine army. The desert stretched for miles. No trees, no shade, just red sand, broken metal, and silence. Tarek stood alone at the edge of a canyon. His black armor reflected the heat. The sun above burned down like a furnace. Behind him, the wind carried whispers of war. In his hand, a small chip blinked with a red light. Inside it was everything. A map, enemy layouts, access codes, And Eli. 3 days ago, Eli had been taken. A surprise attack on a supply convoy. Tarek had been minutes away, but not fast enough. They'd left no survivors, except one message. Come alone. The message came from them, the same scientists who had created Vorak. They had a new plan now, a new army, and Eli was their hostage. You don't have to do this, Commander Lena had told Tarek. Yes, he replied. I do. The enemy base was hidden deep inside the canyon, a massive underground complex. The entrance was covered by turrets, guards, and autodrones. Any normal soldier would die before getting 10 steps close. But Tarek wasn't normal. He adjusted the straps on his armor, checked his systems, then stepped into the canyon. The heat pressed down on him, but his mind was cold. Focused. Ready. The first turret locked onto him. Target acquired. The laser fired, but Tarek was already moving. His cybernetic legs launched him into the air. The shot hit only sand. He landed on the turret, tore its cannon from the base, and threw it like a spear into the next one. Alarm triggered. More drones flew from hidden doors. Metal wings, spinning blades, red eyes. But Tarek didn't stop. He ran straight at them, dodging, spinning, striking. His arms smashed metal like glass. His legs launched him from wall to wall. One drone sliced his shoulder. He didn't slow down. 2 drones pinned him against a wall. He ripped them apart. More came. Too many. But Tarek wasn't fighting for victory. He was fighting for Eli. And he never stopped. Inside the base, sirens screamed. Scientists ran between screens. Soldiers prepared weapons. And in the deepest part of the complex, Eli sat chained in a cold metal chair, blood on his face, breathing slow. A man in a white coat leaned close. He'll come for you, Eli whispered. The man laughed. He won't make it past the gates. Eli smiled weakly. You don't know him. Tarek slammed through the final blast door like a missile. The metal bent around him. He entered the first chamber, lined with cybernetic soldiers, still powering up. Target locked, one said. They moved in perfect sync, perfect formation. But Tarek was chaos. He darted between them, striking fast. He didn't try to win with strength. He used speed, angles, surprise. He hit weak points, broke joints, used one body as a shield against the next. He was fire among machines. One after another, they fell. But so did he. A heavy strike knocked him back. His chest plate cracked. A blade stabbed into his leg. He screamed, but not in pain. In rage. Keep going, Eli had once told him. You don't stop. Ever. He stood again. Blood on his lips. Metal sparking. But still, standing. At the heart of the base, he found the control core. A huge glowing sphere, wires running through the ceiling and walls. Next to it, Eli, barely breathing, chained to the floor. And beside him, a new figure stepped out from the shadows, taller than Vorak, smoother armor, glowing white eyes. The lead cyber commander. No name, no past, just programming. You are late, it said. I'm here now, Tarek growled. You were a failed experiment. Your emotion makes you weak, and your control makes you blind. Then let us finish what we started. The final fight began. Faster, harder, more brutal than anything before. The cyber commander moved like light. Tarek blocked a punch, but his arm cracked. He dodged a kick, but his side was sliced. He countered, grabbed the enemy's arm, ripped out wires. But the enemy healed. Fast. Too fast. Eli, Tarek shouted. Can you move? Barely, Eli groaned. But I'm not leaving without you. Tarek knew time was running out. The commander charged again, blades out. Tarek caught them with his bare hands. His skin burned, metal bent, but he held on. He looked into those cold eyes. You're stronger, he said, but I'm not fighting alone. He twisted, using the enemy's momentum to slam it into the core. The sphere cracked. Sparks flew. Alarms screamed. The entire base shook. Eli shouted, "Tarek, it's going to blow." Tarek ran to him, smashed the chains. He lifted Eli onto his back. Behind them, the core exploded. Fire chased them through the tunnels. Tarek ran through collapsing walls. Over fire, through smoke. His systems failed one by one. Vision, flickering. Armor, cracking. Heart, racing. But his legs moved, until the surface opened above them. They burst out of the canyon as the base erupted behind them. The shockwave threw them forward. They rolled across the sand. Then, silence. Only the wind. Eli coughed, blinking up at the sky. You did it," he whispered. Tarek sat beside him, armor broken, blood running down his face. "We did it," he said. They were rescued hours later by the resistance. Eli was taken for surgery. Tarek was taken to the command room. Commander Lena stood before him, eyes wide. "You went in alone," she said. "Against hundreds." "I had to," he replied. "Why?" Tarek looked at the screen behind her. A new alert. Cybernetic armies deactivated across 6 zones. Global signal destroyed. Because no one else could. That night, Eli sat beside him in the medbay. "You're insane," Eli whispered, half smiling. "Maybe," Tarek said. "You saved me again. You saved me first." Eli laughed softly. "What now?" Tarek looked at the stars outside the window. "Now we go farther. There are more out there. More labs. More like me. But they don't have to stay weapons." He stood, limping slightly. "I'm going to show them." "Show them what?" Eli asked. Tarek looked back. "That we're more than metal. We're more than war." He smiled. "We are hope. More than metal, more than flesh." The sky was quiet again. No drones. No alarms. No shadows. Just the soft hum of wind and the low glow of sunrise spilling over the mountains. Tarek stood at the edge of a cliff, overlooking the wide valley below. Green fields, water flowing through streams, and smoke gently rising from chimneys. People were living there now. Not soldiers, not fighters. Families. His eyes watched the peaceful world in silence. For the first time in what felt like years, there was no battle to fight. But there was still something unfinished. Inside him. 3 weeks had passed since the destruction of the canyon base. The world had changed quickly. With the cybernetic control core destroyed, hundreds of machine soldiers had shut down. Cities were free again. The resistance had turned into rebuilding teams. Humans, and even some aliens, Zorvans, were working side by side. The war wasn't over. But for the first time, peace was possible. And in the center of it all stood a symbol. Tarek. His name had spread like fire. Some called him the rogue weapon. Others called him the armored ghost. But most, they called him hope. Children made drawings of him. Fighting machines, saving towns. Soldiers copied his tactics in the field. And broken people, they began to believe again. But Tarek did not celebrate. He stayed quiet, training alone, helping in small ways, repairing broken drones, delivering supplies, and visiting Eli every day. Eli was recovering slowly. His wounds had been deep, ribs shattered, spine fractured, lungs torn from smoke. But he never stopped smiling. "You didn't just drag me out of a burning base," he joked once. "You carried the whole war on your back." Tarek said nothing at first, just handed him soup. Then softly, "I'd do it again." One morning, Lena brought news. "A Zorvan shuttle arrived near our west border," she told Tarek. "They asked for you by name." "Friend or enemy?" he asked. "We're not sure." Tarek met them alone. The The Zorvan shuttle landed slowly in an open field. It was old, scratched, but still proud. From the door, two figures stepped out. Elders, Zorvan council members. Their eyes were tired, not angry. They bowed. "You are not what we expected," one said. "Neither are you," Tarek replied. The other elder stepped forward. "We came not to fight. We came to ask." Tarek didn't speak. "We heard what you did," the elder said. "You destroyed the labs, freed prisoners, saved lives." "I did what was right," Tarek said, "not what was ordered." The elder nodded slowly. "Some of our people are changing. They question the old ways. They ask if maybe strength is not just in war." "What do you believe?" Tarek asked. The elder looked up at the sky. "I believe strength is standing when you could kneel, forgiving when you could hate, protecting those who once feared you." He turned to Tarek. "I believe you are the future." Word spread quickly. Some Zorvans had defected. Others laid down weapons. Old enemies now sat together in camps and councils. Peace talks began. Tarek refused to lead them. He didn't want to be a general. He didn't want to be a king. He only wanted to be useful. A month later, Eli finally walked again. His steps were slow, shaky, but full of fire. Tarek was there the whole time, never speaking much, just nodding, watching, helping when needed. One night, Eli sat beside him near the river, watching the stars. "You know," Eli said, "when I first found you, I didn't think you'd survive." "Neither did I," Tarek replied. "But you didn't just survive," Eli said. "You became something else." "A weapon," Tarek muttered. "No," Eli smiled. "A mirror." Tarek looked at him, confused. "People look at you," Eli explained, "and they see what they could be. Strong, kind, brave, not perfect, just possible." Tarek looked down at his hands. Metal fingers, smooth, sharp, deadly, but also gentle, capable of more than war. "Maybe," he said quietly, "I'm still learning who I am." "Then let's learn together," Eli said. Days turned into weeks. Tarek began helping build a new academy, not for soldiers, but for peacekeepers. Young humans and young Zorvans trained together, not in how to kill, but how to protect. He taught them how to move, how to think, how to listen, and more importantly, how to choose. "You are not your orders," he told them. "You are not your past." They listened, because he didn't speak like a teacher. He spoke like someone who had lived it. On the day of the academy's opening, a child walked up to Tarek. She was small, with big eyes and a fake metal arm made from scrap. "Are you the one with robot legs?" she asked. Tarek smiled softly. "I am. Can I be like you?" He knelt down, looked her in the eyes. "You can be better." That night, as the sky turned gold, Eli and Tarek sat together once more. The camp behind them buzzed with life. People laughing, eating, rebuilding. "You ever think you'd see this?" Eli asked. "Not in 1,000 lifetimes," Tarek replied. "You still feel like a weapon." Tarek looked at the stars. "No," he said. "I feel like a bridge." "Between what?" "Between who I was and who I want to be." The stars twinkled above, and for the first time, Tarek let himself breathe. Not because the world was perfect, not because the war was over, but because, finally, he had found his place in it. Not as a machine, not as a monster, not even as a hero, but as a man. More than metal, more than flesh, a soul with purpose.